Protocols? It means talking about what you're thinking inside of your head. The research topic is finding how people think. Those two informations are both very important. Research since the 60s has been happening, but now they've been researching it more on how it applies to our interpreting work, and plus using it for our work. That's the topic today. Protocols is how interpreters share and discuss what they're thinking. But what is that exactly? We can discuss it. If a system that means we can pull it into our interpreting job along with us. Most of the time, that means at the same time during, like if you're doing a job or your work, whatever it is, during what you're doing. Interpreting at the same time, talking about what we're doing, that is impossible. You just can't. But understand, changing it to paper, from paper to sign, practice. But how do we figure out? That's what you can talk about and discuss. I think about after. If you think about that one after, it means interpreting, and when you finish the job, you can look back and analyze what you did do. So, how you can apply that or copy it for next time. Again, we want a system. It's not like all these thoughts just appearing and going in different places. We want you focused. Thinking means being right behind it. We want that. We want all of that involved for the experience. Talking about cognitive process. When you think about meditation, it's thinking about thinking. Okay, well, you can do that. But now I want you thinking. I want you to take that thinking process out and talk about that. Discuss it, share, teach other people. Everybody usually thinks very different. Whether it's the right answer or the wrong answer, it doesn't say. Your thinking process is usually step by step, but not mine. Mine, I typically think about something else, go back to that point, and think about something else. Oh, way off. Oh, then I go back to the point. That's usually mine. But other people's is first, second, third, fourth, in order. And I look at it like, whatever. How do you do that? It's good for meditation. I feel like theirs is. That's usually how theirs is. But what do I do when I think about children and babies and interpreting for the young world and traveling the world? Like if you think about interpreting your work tomorrow, hopefully there will be a presentation or something interesting today. Now you have to think, which world do you have to answer to make it clear? A presenter, like if there were two workshops, one half and the other half. That mean that you should just go to one? You may be thinking, oh no, that doesn't sound interesting. What it means when you all think different. That's important. That benefits us. If I copied how you think and what you think and how you feel and how you express yourselves, like if you talk about animals or you love photography or baseball, you live, that's your attitude. You're proud of yourself, proud of those. Like if you had one baseball team. We have a pitcher. And the pitcher throws with both hands. For real. Imagine their mindset, how they do that. They can switch from their left and right hand. They have that skill. There's a rule named Vendetta. Like if you think about a situation and you have to discuss it and figure it out about what you would do. Like, do you like baseball Spurs? There's a workshop that talks about that, but anyways. The Vendetta rule discusses baseball and the skills of using your left and right hand. So now the rules for a pitcher is they themselves have to tell which hand they're going to use to pitch for every pitcher, for each time. Like a batter, they decide themselves which side they want to stand on. That's a skill. Anyways, that's the batter's Vendetta rule. But the pitcher can decide to change at each pitch, each different time they pitch. Like the batter can do that too. And that's a different way of thinking. And that one baseball team compared to how many baseball teams? That pitcher is skilled using both hands pitching. It's very important for your benefit to share information. You know how baseball, they have that skill. Many people research that topic. There's very many different ones. Like our profession as an interpreter or an interpreter for language, for example, three things I finished researching, and I've borrowed some positives from that or from other children's, and from math, and from the earth, and from the computers. Like for the people who are very focused and have those good, important experiences, and the process of how they work. That's 75% of the time. 25% of the time, it's just, it's protocol, product. It's interesting because most of the time we think product as what's there, what we can see, meaning both of them for us, that we should focus on the 70%, the more that's possible. Interpreting, research, and speaking and interpreting. Usually it's the same answer. If you're an interpreter and you think more advanced or more in depth, well, you'll succeed. More success. But what does in depth mean? I'm going to give you a few examples. Interpreter thinking, like about what a presenter means, what they think it means. That process, the interpreter is going to be more successful. What do you need? Who's here? Who's deaf? Who's hearing? But maybe more of you don't know yet. Maybe you haven't seen it yet. The interpreting process itself is the third one. You can include all of that in the interpreting process, like the presenter, and asking them what their preferences is. And the interpreting process itself, us usually as interpreters, we think more advanced and successful work that shows our experience and our skills, compared to new interpreters who have a limited, less amount of skilled or interpreting experiences. This way. Language skills and language rich skills. The lean skills, it's more on the surface, like focusing on vocabulary and grammar and the sentence structure. That's limited information there. That's looking at the product. It's also looking at the surface, like maybe it's a little bit and you can figure out how to solve it. Well, language rich, that process is more in depth than what the meaning is and the context overall, and who's involved and what do they think it means, and discussing like, why do you need an interpreter here? Am I doing my job? Focusing more on the process, and that's 75% of the time. So that's good. The language rich is also a social situation. Like sometimes deaf children enter main school or mainstream school. But where do they socialize? How do they connect? Like adults, if you're going to a meeting to get information, but what does that mean to be more social? It means more in depth and more thinking. Interpreters, they need to notice how that person feels, and that can become involved in our interpreting process. But that doesn't mean it's just the surface. If we think about the protocol and using the system, we can focus on the process itself. After the workshop, I'll expand more on on the steps connected with that. But for now, let's push our glasses up and go with this. Oh my goodness. Thinking is hard. That process.